Alright chaps, not gonna lie, it's colder out, it's darker out. I usually do these types of videos outside in nature, but due to the weather, due to the darkness and everything like that, it's just going to be me talking in my car. So if you're looking for highly dopaminergic edits and cuts and everything like that, click away, because I don't even want you watching my content anyways. So with that being said, I wanted to make this video about why it is so easy to know what you have to do, because the knowledge isn't the problem. If you want to change your reality or change your life or your frequency, your consciousness, any of these things, manifestation, right? Then why is it so hard in application, and why do you know everything you need to be doing but you can't do it? This is something that I've struggled with for years upon years upon years. But the truth is, everything you need to know is already within. You're not creating anything. Manifestation isn't about creating a new reality. It's about revealing what actually exists already inside of you. And for the sake of this video, we're just going to be talking about the basic understanding of your parallel self or your old frequency. So for the sake of the analogy, I want you to imagine, right, if you're in one of these Hollywood movies and there's a doppelganger version of yourself. It's hard to imagine, but it's true. And now this version of yourself isn't in the physical three-dimensional realm, so you don't see it like in the movie. Like, there's not an identical version of me that looks exactly like me somewhere. I mean, at least I hope not, unless I'm being cloned in a flesh lab. But in the spiritual plane, because remember, there's 3 planes of existence: the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. And so on the spiritual plane, a different entity, different version of you exists. And the first step to even break free of that old frequency or split is awareness. Awareness is ultimately being able to be conscious with a lens that you're filtering reality through, and you're looking at everything for what it is. And so once you get that down, then you have a new frequency. And if you're new to the channel, all frequency is basically just your baseline mood, the baseline version of you. You know, your consciousness, your emotional and thought patterns, all interchangeable. But you'll be able to see and analyze and reflect, why do I feel this way? And how come when I make my goals for myself, okay, I want to make this certain amount of money, I want to put on this much on my bench, I want to put this much muscle on, I want to be able to learn this language, I want this instrument, all these things, okay, whatever it is, wealth, whatever, you get the point. But what you need to understand, and it says in the Bible, is that when 2 agree on earth, then it shall be delivered. And the esoteric interpretation of this verse is that you have the conscious and the subconscious part of your brain, and if one of them disagrees, then your wishes and your manifestation will never materialize. Okay? So with your conscious part of your brain, you can logically think through everything you have to do, reverse engineer this business model. You know everything. The information isn't a problem. We have the most information that we have ever had in human time. That is not the problem. But the problem is that you feel different. You can think all you want to success in whatever respective area, but if you do not feel and embody and know and have faith in that area, it'll never materialize. This is the struggle that I've recumbently gone through over and over and over again. And every time I look back, I figure out that I'm slipping back into my old frequency, my old state of being. And it's simply built upon trauma, failures, experiences, and conditioning. Your subconscious programming, anything and everything that you consume, will eventually be expressed. So this doppelganger version of yourself is the one who wants to exist with the same thoughts, the same limiting beliefs. Think about polarity. Think about this is a negative version of yourself in the spiritual plane. And the only thing that he seeks to do is to exist, is to keep on persisting and be that old version of yourself. So think about it. If right now, if your habits and your thoughts and your emotions are all off, all scattered, and you don't like where you're at and you want to change your life, look back to what is going on. Think about thinking, introspect about your thoughts, your emotions, your day-to-day habits, and if that's not in alignment with where you want to be, then you need to just reverse engineer it and actually embody it, which is two different parts of it. Sorry boys, I had to take a little piss break, and this is a prime example of why, even with everything that I'm saying, is that reality will still go wrong sometimes. I had to pee extremely bad. My bladder was hurting. So I gave in to my thoughts, my emotions, and I pulled over to a gas station quick. I walked in, and I was already like, oh my God, I gotta pee. And there was a red light. I had to sit there forever, and it was frustrating me. It was annoying me. And I was feeding into this pendulum, this loop of negativity, right? I'm trying my hardest, but best even happens to me. And so I eventually was about to cross, and then an ambulance came, so I couldn't go on the green light. And this green light was only green for like 10 seconds. And just as it comes by, it's a red light. I have to wait again. Then I get to the gas station. I walk into the gas station, go to the back, and the men's room is closed for cleaning, and there's one, like, you know, multi-gender, whatever bullshit room, family room, and it's locked, banging on the door. This guy's like, "Grab, grab," and I literally went into the men's room. I was like, there's a lady cleaning, and I go, I really have to go. Is there any possibility that I can use the bathroom? I really have to go. She said, oh, I can't do that. I can have it done in 5 minutes. Anyways, this is just a huge pendulum, but the point is that I had to sit there for, it wasn't 5 minutes. I sat there for like 10 minutes and kept feeding into my emotions, and it just continued to project the same thing that I was experiencing. So eventually I just walked out and just peed outside, solved the problem. Anyways, back to what I was talking about is that this old doppelganger version of you has its own version of your beliefs, your perceptions, your memories, and it has its own way of categorizing and thinking about it in a negative connotation and limiting belief kind of ways. And this old version of you is an attention seeker, and all that it wants is to constantly be bringing up these things like, oh, what about that time you didn't do this and you didn't do it right and you're a failure, maybe you sucked at sports, maybe, you know, for me might be negative thoughts, and I've gotten to the point where I don't even allow negative thoughts anymore, but occasionally you'll get those thoughts of, you know, I haven't really done anything crazy yet. I'm 19 years old and I haven't done anything astonishing yet. I have no huge accolades and achievements, and so that can kind of get in my head of like, you know, you were a failure at this, you weren't very good at sports, lifting was kind of your only thing. And that is the old version of you trying to bring attention. It just wants attention. And remember that emotion is, you know, supercharges those thoughts, and then they're felt. Now those thoughts are felt. So keep this in mind. It also wants to bring you down to fear. When you want to wake up earlier, or you want to start this scary business, the reason why it is so scary is because that doppelganger is telling you, he's trying to get in your head, tell you don't do it. You know, fear, guilt, shame, lack, just those, the devil, the ego, whatever you want to call it, because the ego only thinks that what is visible is what is real or what exists. But the failure of that, being brought down by the devil, is that the failure to recognize the other planes of existence, like we said. So every single day, what you need to do is wake up with the intention, know that there is an old version of you seeking your ruin, seeking your self-destruction. It only wants to exist. All events occur eternally in the same recurring pattern, okay? And it wants to keep you. That is why you feel like your life is deja vu. It's because it is. Because you keep going through this loop, fighting and struggling with that old version of yourself, playing tug of war. So when is it finally time for you to say, to question your old self? To say, he says all these things, but hold on, what if I create something new? What if I create a whole different character of myself in my head, in the mental, spiritual realm, and then I can actually have those goals and reverse engineer those goals towards that version of you, which is the thought. And then, like we said, the point of this video is, why can't you actually put action to it? So the next step only is to embody that new person. Feel as if you already have it. Having gratitude for the things you already have is the easiest way to make your life way more enjoyable. It's proven. Because you already have everything. It's as simple as that. You know, I think sometimes I don't have anything, and I don't have everything that I want because I have such high aspirations, but what I fail to realize is that there are literally kids in Africa, Syria, some third world country with looking at their parents decapitated, and they're in crumbles, no water, no food, no house, scared. What do you have to be sorry for? What, you're depressed? You're sad because this old version of you is self-sabotaging yourself? And there's people dying with real problems, and you have the audacity to say, oh, I can't do it because I feel sad in my head. That is extremely disgusting, and I say this because I realized it within myself. How entitled is it to think that you have such hard struggles and be sadistic? Because that old version of you is a sadist. He loves the pain, the misery, the suffering. It's addicted to it. And remember, it just wants to exist. That version of you simply just wants to exist. Think of it as its own entity. Like we said, it's a doppelganger. It's a version of you that you've been building up ever since you were a kid, an infant. And so once you are awakened and you are enlightened, then you're able to reverse engineer. It is only then, when you realize, okay, yeah, I have to put action to what I'm saying. The only way I'm going to do that is if I already have. If I give myself permission, literally, to just have it. Because you can have anything you want, right? And I think one of the more sly ways that the doppelganger of you will seek to destroy you is through your reactions, okay? You have to understand that to react is death, and that to respond is life. Okay, think about it. Think about the certain circumstances or events or conditions of your life, aspects of your life, your reality that you don't like. And anything goes wrong, like I said with the pee example, that old version of you is tugging again at you. He's trying to get a reaction out of you. Why do people make fun of other people? Just for the sake of it? No, it's to get a reaction. It wants to get a reaction out of you because that is your emotion. And once you're emotionally in tune with that negative connotated feeling, then it short circuits almost, and you don't have any level of true pure awareness. You're not aware, and you can't have any higher levels of thinking because you're just giving an emotion reaction strongly and unaware of it. So anytime, it could be anyone dissing you, hate comments, whatever, it's as simple as looking at it and just being like, looking at it through the lens of your new frequency, of that new version of yourself down the road. How would he respond? What would he think? What would he do? Move on. And even my football coach taught me this, is that it's all about how do you respond. If we're getting killed out there 30 points down, it's about how we respond. Not if we react, we start crying, a bunch of crybabies crying because of this. It's because you have to respond. How do you respond? That is as simple as it gets. Response, my friends. So now that you're aware that you have a doppelganger that seeks only to exist and to keep you, bringing you back down to failure, go into this new season, this new year, thinking every single day, I'm gonna wake up, I have that ideal version of myself, that new frequency state of being, and I'm going to embody that, reverse engineer that, feel that, and be that. Because you must be before you have physically. The human definition of having is to physically have it. So with that, I am going to get to the gym. I'm itching off the pre-workout, but just a little bit of a rant. Understanding and awareness is the first step. From there, you must choose new thoughts, choose new emotions, choose how you view everything through the lens of that higher version of you, that higher echelon of man. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't and you've been watching my videos and creeping on them but not subscribing. It helps me more than you know. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it.